Specs on. The Queen of Hearts now loves the knave the king ran out of.
Yarn. I saw that guy going.
I know that you know these. You were driving down the road and you saw signs on the side of the road. If harmony is what you crave, then get a tuba. Thank you. If honey shuns your fond embrace, don't shoot the milkman, feel your face. And one more. I used to follow these, tell my father to drive more slowly so I could catch them all. No lady likes to dance or dine accompanied by a porcupine. Okay. Maya Angelou, who's a marvelous poet and writer and speaker, has said, words mean more than what is set down on paper. It takes the human voice to infuse them with deeper meaning. So the first story I'm going to read you is by Bailey White. Bailey, you may have heard her on National Public Radio over the years. She's from the South. She lives with her mother in Georgia. And she makes some very interesting observations. So this first story is called The Lips of a Stranger. You should have known things were not going well when Mama found a tick doing isometrics under her pantyhose. Nothing along the tick's trudge up the evolutionary ladder had prepared him for pantyhose, and he was exhausting himself scrambling and heaving against the nylon. Every now and then, one of his knees would punch through the mesh. Mama and Louise and I were on our way to a cousin's wedding. It was a big wedding. She was marrying someone from outside, and we had been told to look sharp. Gotta get him out of there, Mama said. I have to go in from the top, and I can't do it sitting down. Besides, I've got to pull this pantyhose up one more time before we go into the church. Mama doesn't wear pantyhose very often, and she had bought queen size by mistake. She thought it meant the size of the average queen. The pantyhose drooped around her legs and swags, and after she walked a few steps, the crotch would work its way down and appear below the hem of her dress like a spectral pudendum. She started to pull off the road. "You can't stop," my sister said. "We're late already." Nobody spoke. We were late because Louise had decided at the last minute that her knit dress made her look like a zipper. "Didn't look like this in the catalog," she had wailed, eyeing herself sideways. And finally, after striking pose after pose in front of the mirror, she had discovered one rigid posture that was satisfactory. And with the fierce concentration of a tightrope walker, she had maintained it since we left the house. Now she looked like something like a ruler, you know, the kind with a metal edge. I was sitting in the back seat, admiring my lips in the rear view mirror. My cousin had given me some lipstick, and it's not the ordinary kind, but some beautiful iridescent goo in a little plastic tub with a screw-off top. Pot O Gloss, it was called. You rubbed it on with your finger. Now my lips looked and felt like the lips of someone I had never known. I had to keep them slightly parted, because when they touched, they were so slick they would skate across each other and leave little pearly smears of pot gloss all around the edges. We came to the intersection of Highway 319 and Butter and Egg Road. The cars on 319 were whizzing along, passing each other and honking their horns. Butter and Egg Road is dirt. Mama is a careful driver. She doesn't take risks. She always takes Butter and Egg Road. "You're not going on Butter and Egg Road," my sister commanded. "We'll get stuck. Look how muddy it is." "Better to be stuck on Butter and Egg Road than dead on 319, Mama pronounced. Besides, look at that set of tire tracks. Somebody made it through. Louise allowed herself one huge sigh and then snatched herself upright again. We sloughed off onto Butter and Egg Road. The car skied and skewed, but Mama steered true. The red clay mud reminded me of pot of gloss. None of these roads was paved when I was your age, Mama told us. The secret is to steer with the skid. I'd never understood what that meant, but I didn't care. I'd much rather just sit in the back seat studying my lips in the rear view mirror and let Mama drive. I'd seen lips like these in magazines, I decided, on women wearing billowy clothes who stalked along city streets in high-heeled shoes as if they knew where they were going and wanted to be going there. The lips of a stranger, I said out loud, watching them as if by magic form my words. I'm going to get Lyme disease from this tick, Mama said. Lyme disease hasn't gotten as far south yet, my sister gasped. The constraints of the rigid posture made speech difficult for her. Besides, you can't stop now. We'd never get started again. But soon we had to stop. The very truck whose tire tracks had been so encouraging at the entrance to Butter and Egg Road was stuck in the mud in front of us. We couldn't get around it. Oh, no! Louise let out her air and slumped in the seat. It's Ned Smallball. Ned Smallball had been sweet on her in a touching but infuriating way for years. He leaned in the window and looked us over. Woo, he said, look at y'all, where are you going? Let me out, Ned, said Mama. We're going to a wedding. I've got to get this tick out from under my pantyhose. Look at that, Ned marveled, eyeing the tick. He's just a-jumping and jiving. That pantyhose is mighty loose, though, don't you think, Mrs. White? I accidentally bought the wrong size, Mama said, but if I keep it pulled up, it's not so bad. Gives the tick more scope, too, being that loose, Ned said. He leaned up against our car and we watched Mama head for the bushes, the crotch of her pantyhose wagging between her knees. Ned took his hat off, kind of fetching in a spooky kind of way, he mused. My sister took her shoes off and stepped into the mud. She walked around and looked at the tires of Ned's truck. That's a real pretty dress, Louise, Ned called. Pretty colors. Makes you look just like a zipper. You want us to help you push it, Ned? I asked quickly. Nope, I'm going to get my daddy's tractor. And he loped off through the mud. We waited. That Ned Smallball is a mighty nice boy, Mama announced. I'd rather be killed on 319, moaned Louise, slumping against the car door. Well, Ned came back with a tractor, slinging mud in all directions. We hooked up the chain to the bumper, and Mama steered while he pulled the truck to higher ground. Then we all four squeezed into the cab, and Ned took us to the wedding. Louise wiped the mud off her feet, put her shoes on, and sucked herself upright. Mama hiked up her pantyhose one more time, and I checked the lips in Ned's side mirror. We were only a little bit late. Before you go in, Ned said to me, you've got something all over your mouth. He rummaged under the seat and pulled out a filthy flannel rag. Here's something to wipe it off with. So much for pot of gloss. So much for the lips of a stranger. But after all, I wondered, sitting in the pew between Mama and my sister, both elegantly serene in their queen-size pantyhose and zipper-knit dress, how would that magazine stranger fare with her high-heeled shoes and her shimmering lips on Butter and Egg Road the day after a heavy rain?